Alright, so 2022's Lightyear is directed by Angus MacLane, who has animated, acted, and directed, and I'm assuming has written for Pixar before on a lot of different projects. Some of those being Toy Story, Toy Story of Terror, Toy Story Toons, Party Source Rex, Finding Dory, Bernie, the short from Wall-E, Wall-E as well. Worked on Up, Cars, Ratatouille, Toy Story 3, Bug's Life. So yeah, needless to say, I believe it's a he. There's no picture for him. I'm hoping that it's a him. I'm pretty sure it is. There's no picture for him, but he has worked on a lot of different Pixar films. That's pretty much, not even pretty much, I think, give or take a couple of projects, he's only worked on Pixar projects, which is very cool. Let me see here who the writers are, if I can get back to that. Let me see. Angus MacLane, story by him, as well as Matthew Aldrich and Jason Headley. Jason Headley sounds familiar. Do I know him from something? He wrote Onward, and that is the only thing I recognize. But yeah, pretty good director there. I mean, I've watched a lot of his different stuff. Finding Dory is one of the big ones there that I quite liked. Not as good as the original, but he is also animated and voiced in a lot of other Pixar films. Pretty much looks like almost all of them, to be honest. So very impressive resume there for sure. But Buzz Lightyear is not voiced by Tim Allen in this movie. It is Chris Evans, Captain America himself. And I think Chris Evans does a really great job as Buzz Lightyear, bringing the character to life. I guess more to like a more realistic life, not being a toy. I think Tim Allen would have done great in this movie if they brought him back to voice Buzz Lightyear. But, you know, let somebody else get in there and play around with it and be able to have their take on it. And this is a more, you know, obviously this isn't the toy Buzz Lightyear. They, even for a brief moment, they specify that this is the movie that Andy watched when he was a kid. And, yeah, so that's really interesting there to kind of watch a movie where it's like, hey, I can put myself in Andy's shoes and be like, I'm watching this movie for the first time, and this is what Andy is watching, you know? It's kind of cool. But, yeah, Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear. We got Keke Palmer as Izzy Hawthorne. We also have Peter Son as Socks, Taika Waititi as Mo Morrison, Dale Soules as Darby Steele, James Brolin as Zerg, and Uzo Aduba. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I suck at pronouncing names. But as Alicia Hawthorne. And that's pretty much the main cast for you there. You know, you also got a voice cameo from Bill Hader, one of my favorite actors, as Featherington. What is it? Featheringhamston. It's an interesting name for sure. That character is more of just like a robot that's kind of just there for a joke, to be honest. It doesn't play a huge role in the movie. But Taika Waititi is in there as well, which I love him. If you don't know who Taika Waititi is, he directed Jojo Rabbit. He directed Thor Ragnarok. He directed the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder movie. And he also voices Korg in those two movies. What else has this man done? He's done a lot of stuff, but I love everything that he's done so far. And just hearing him in this role as Mo Morrison, I thought was really fun. His character, on the other hand, meh. Honestly, everybody, like, aside from Buzz Lightyear, Alicia Hawthorne, and Izzy Hawthorne, and Socks, of course. So basically, Mo Morrison and Darby Steele, like, they're fine, I guess. They're there. But Socks, that's a great character. If you watch the trailers, he's the personal robot companion that looks like a cat, and honestly, he's my favorite part of this movie. I think he's so great. He is so funny. He has great comedic timing, and he's also cute. But yeah, Keke Palmer is also in this as Izzy Hawthorne, the granddaughter of Alicia Hawthorne. Basically, let me give you the plot synopsis here. What do they have written here? While spending years attempting to return home, marooned Space Ranger Buzz Lightyear encounters an army of ruthless robots commanded by Zerg who are attempting to steal his fuel source. So basically, Buzz Lightyear and Alicia Hawthorne, along with a huge ship full of basically a colony of people, get marooned on this basically uninhabitable planet. And Buzz, he's the one to be like, all right, I need to complete the mission. I need to get us back home. And so he does all these test flights. And honestly, there were a lot of moments in here where Buzz Lightyear kind of reminded me of Maverick from Top Gun. But yeah, I mean, he goes up into space to do these hyperdrive missions, and each time he does it, years start to pass by a little bit. And, you know, like, I think they said it's like 4 years every time he goes up. And, you know, he doesn't get so lucky on the last try, ends up really far in the future. And, yeah, that's not necessarily how it happened, but, hopefully I'm not spoiling anything too much here. But I gotta, like, tell you the plot so you understand it. But yeah, he ends up going into the future and meeting up with Alicia, his best friend, her granddaughter, Izzy Hawthorne, played by Keke Palmer. And yeah, they have this ragtag team of basically rookies. Darby Steele and Mo Morrison. Darby Steele being like an old lady with a felony, and like basically she has a Suicide Squad situation going on, but without the bomb in her neck. Basically like just her doing good things and staying away from, you know, blowing things up and shooting things will take years off of her sentence. But yeah, Mo Morrison, like, there's not much to say about him. He doesn't really have any specialties or like really any what's the word I'm looking for? Specialties or skills, I guess. Yeah. He doesn't really have any particular set of skills like Liam Neeson, but he comes in handy every once in a while, and he makes me laugh here and there. James Brolin as Zerg, very interesting character there. Not a whole lot I can say about him for spoiler purposes, but yeah, he's intimidating for the most part. I don't know. He looks good. I'll tell you that much. He looks good. But I mean, in terms of villains, it didn't completely blow me away, but it surprised me. So I'll give it that. Also, I'm wondering if James Brolin is related to Josh Brolin because it kind of looks like him. And I don't care enough to actually look it up right now. But yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot I can say about this movie other than it looks good for the most part. I mean, the people look a little plasticky. There's not much texture to their skin. I mean, I'll give it this. It did make me cry a couple times. And if a movie can do that, it usually gives, you know, it gives it extra points for me. But this movie really didn't blow me away, and I wasn't expecting it to. It takes a lot to like really surprise me with the movie. So when a movie does, you'll know when I'm like blown away by it, because I'm super high energy and just like, oh yeah, let's talk about this fucking movie. But when it comes to this, it's just like, yeah, it's about what I expected. There's a couple surprises in there. I laughed more than I thought I would, especially with like the amount of jokes they put in the trailer, where I'm just like, I mean, I hate it when they put all their good jokes in the trailer, but there's some surprising good jokes in there that I quite liked. So yeah, it made me laugh. It made me cry. I, at times, was like tense because I was like, oh my God, like there's a specific scene that takes place in space where one character is trying to float from one door to another door, and the ship starts moving a bit, and they're just like falling into space, essentially the void of nothingness. And I'm just like, oh my God, I was on the edge of my seat at that moment. But I mean, like I said, it just really didn't blow me away that much. I mean, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I think that's a pretty good score, and it's pretty accurate to how I feel about it. But I was left feeling like they could have done a little more, really. You know, that's kind of how I'm feeling. So hopefully I didn't spoil anything too much there. I'm like thinking about that in the back of my head, like talking about the time travel aspects, but you kind of see it in the trailers, so I figured it's okay to talk about. But yeah, I mean, I'm really kind of struggling to come up with more things to say though. Like the cast is pretty small. I mean, let me look at this cast because I was watching like the credits and stuff like that, and there were like maybe 12 people tops that actually had a voice in this movie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's 13 voice actors in this movie, which really isn't a whole lot. Some people might be like, "Oh man, that sounds like a lot," but it's really not. Especially for an animated movie, like it's usually jam packed with a lot of different, voice actors. But with this, it stays close to, a few like group of characters. Basically the ones that are really important to the story here are Alicia, Zerg, Darby Steele, Mo Morrison, Socks, Izzy Hawthorne, and Buzz Lightyear, obviously. Everybody else, not a whole lot to do. And I'm not mad at that by any means. A small cast doesn't ruin anything for me. What ruins things for me is just a kind of so-so story. And for the most part, like they had a really good setup, but by the end of it, I just feel like it started to lose its footing a little bit. That being said, I still give it a 7 out of 10. I still like it, and I still might watch this again in theaters. But is it something I'm going to put on my top 10 favorite of this, like favorite movies of this year? I don't know. Maybe, depends on what else comes out and how I feel about it. But as for right now, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, out of all the movies that have come out this year, out of like, what I would put on my top 10 so far, I guess this would probably go on there because like there haven't been that many movies that have really blown me away this year so far. But yeah, we'll really have to wait and see when the year ends, see how I still feel about this movie, what else comes out, and if anything I feel like tops this. But I feel like a lot of things will top this. There's a lot of good movies coming out. I'm looking forward to Elvis. I don't think that movie is going to be anything too spectacular, but I could be wrong. Nope. Jordan Peele's Nope. That is one that I'm very much looking forward to. Yeah, Thor Love and Thunder, obviously. So I feel like this one's just going to kind of get swept under the rug a little bit when it comes to all the other movies that are coming out this year. I mean, we're supposed to get Black Panther 2 this year, too. I mean, we'll see if that still happens. That feels a little unrealistic, but you never know. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had more to say about it, really. I mean, Chris Evans does a good job. There's good animation, but like I said, like it's not very textured when it comes to the characters. Everything around them seems to be textured pretty well, but I don't know. I wish I could say more. That's all I have at this point. I mean, like I said, I wasn't expecting a whole lot, but I feel like I was expecting just a little bit more. They could have done a little bit more. But like I said, still a 7 out of 10. Like that's pretty good. But that's what I give a lot of like pretty okay movies. So take it with a grain of salt, kind of. But I mean, I mean it for the most part. But also, like in the grand scheme of things, it's not gonna end up being like my favorite movie of the year or anything like that. I'm probably not even in my top 5. Maybe not even in my top 10. But yeah, I'm just basically rambling at this point, trying to fill up time for this video, so it's not like a super short review. But yeah, have you guys seen Buzz Lightyear? What did you think? Comment down below. Did you love it or did you hate it? Or are you in the middle? I can't say I love it, but I really like it because there's a lot of things they do in there that I quite like. Like I don't know if I said this or not, but I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, I don't think I did. There's a few notes here that I didn't actually mention. I wish I would have mentioned them sooner because people probably clicked off the video already when I started rambling. But there's quite a few lines in this movie that are taken straight from the first Toy Story where, there's one where Buzz is like, there's no sign of intelligent life anywhere. That's just one of them that I can think of. Obviously, like To Infinity and Beyond is in there, but the last thing I forgot to mention, and hopefully people didn't click off if they're planning on going to see the movie, because there are 3 after credit scenes in this. I will say 2 of them feel completely unnecessary. They're there for kind of a joke, but the last one that comes it comes at the very, very, very end, like when the screen's about to just like shut off, the projector's about to shut off. That's when this last end credit scene shows up, and that one is the one that's important. But even that doesn't feel like too important. They probably could have just shoehorned that into the end of the movie and called it a day. But no, it's Disney, and it's almost like a Marvel movie too, in a way, because, you have this crazy character and space and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, hey, we should put some post-credit scenes and end credit scenes in this. But yeah, definitely stay till the very end. It's gonna come like after the logos pop up. Like, how the logos pop up in the beginning of the movie, where you get like the Walt Disney logo, and then you get the Pixar logo with the lamp jumping on it. Yeah, you gotta wait until that shows up again at the end. And then after that Pixar logo, it's like, all right, here's another scene for you. Like, it was the most confusing thing ever. I was ready to leave. I was like, because I even looked it up. I do that with pretty much every movie at this point, like any big movie that I really give a shit about. Like, is there any after credit scenes for ... And I was like, 3 of them. Okay, I'll be sticking around. And I'm like, after a while, I'm like, did this website get it wrong? I looked at a few different websites. No, everyone says 3. And then it comes at the very tail end of the movie, like I said, right before the projector is just ready to like flip off. And I'm just like, really? At the very end? And I feel like everybody would have left at that point. But the final end credit scene does hint at a possible sequel, so we'll see if that comes out. I'm sure this movie will do pretty well. There's not too many kids movies out in theaters right now, so I feel like the box office on this will be pretty good. But we'll really just have to wait and see. Like I said, comment down below, tell me what you thought of the movie, and leave a like on the video and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. What will I be reviewing? It probably won't be until next Wednesday when I review Miss Marvel Episode 3 and the final episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. But next week, there's 3 movies coming out. It's also my birthday weekend next week, so I don't know if I'm going to get to all 3. Also, sorry, I just spit. That's gross. But nobody's really watching at this point anyways. Yeah, the 3 movies that are coming out, we got The Black Phone with Ethan Hawke. We also have Marcel the Shell with Shoes, which the tickets are still not available for that at my local theater. So maybe I just won't be able to watch that one. I won't be too heartbroken over that. And what was the final one? Oh, it's Elvis, duh, right? Pretty sure. Yeah. So I'm going to be seeing, depending on like which days I have off of work, I'm going to be seeing most likely The Black Phone first. I don't know. We'll see which order I go in, but Elvis and The Black Phone for sure, and then Marcel the Shell maybe, if tickets are available. I'm not going to be too heartbroken if they're not. But yeah, that's all I'll have for next week. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you in the next one.